John McDonald, the MC extraordinaire, what in the world got you into this game?
Yeah, I often ask myself the same question, but I was mad on sport anyway, so it just was a natural progression, I think. I started in the boxing and then did the snooker and the pool and the poker, and then Barry sort of always figured it would be a good idea to get involved in the darts, and then I did a show in 2004 and it was quite successful, and then I started the Premier League in 2005, and that's pretty much where it sort of grew from there, and it's become my number one job now. I don't do anything else, and so I suppose it's taken over me more than me taking over it.
Was sport always a part of your life early on? Did you always, as a kid, think maybe somehow I'm going to work a career in sport?
Yeah, I wanted to be a sportsman. I was a pretty good footballer. I wasn't a very good boxer, but I was a pretty good footballer, and I thought that might be the way I would go. I've always loved sport, and I went to a very sporting school, so that helped. And sadly, I had a very nasty accident when I was in the military, and it kind of put all the sort of sporting aspects on the back burner a bit. So I thought, how would I get into sport other than, not being able to participate? So I took a role as a photographer and sort of photojournalist in boxing, which I knew a lot about, and then the natural progression was to go from there to announcing. So I'd always wanted to be involved in sport, and I suppose I'm quite lucky to have ended up there.
What's the difference in announcing through various sports? Like, obviously, tannoys and everything else, people work their way through here. You're learning in a very different style because you're in live arenas all the time. Is there a difference?
Yeah, there is a big difference. I mean, I suppose it can be an advantage and a disadvantage. I mean, most of the stuff I do, if not all, is live. So there's very little room for error, and there's very little room to do anything else. When some people come to exhibitions or see me when I'm not live, they see a slightly different side to me, and I think it's quite a surprise to them that I can actually do more than just bring on a player. But working live is crucial, and because you really only get one chance, and so it can be a bit nervy. But it's all I've ever done, so I've never really had the great luxury of being able to say, you don't mind if I try that again. That's never going to happen.
We know that wrestlers, for example, who learn their scripts, and after a number of times the crowd kind of sing along with them. Does it any time get awkward where the crowd are expecting you to say something?
Yeah, it does, and it's quite interesting when you see them join in as well. They try and keep the world going as long as me. I mean, I just think the players deserve like a really big build-up, and it's nice when the crowd get involved because they know as much about the player, if not more, than most of us. Fans are pretty good, aren't they? They tend to know more about their favourite players than any of us. So yeah, I mean it's quite different. It's quite difficult sometimes when you see people anticipating what you're going to say.
Now I know that. Everybody was sad that Phil Taylor left, but I know that you were particularly sad because you talk about champion of the world. Did that really make you, do you think?
I think it was, fortunately for me, it was the first match I ever did involve Phil Taylor. So I thought long and hard weeks before I got the job. I was given the job, and it was a pay-per-view event, a big, massive event where Phil took on the Viking Andy Fordham in a pay-per-view event on Sky. And they wanted to build it up in a bit like a main event boxing match. And I thought long and hard about how I would do Phil, with the record breaking, the history making. I tried to make it all work. And because I felt that deserved something very, very special. And it kind of stuck, and it kind of grew as he won more and more world titles till he got to 16. And then, of course, I was present in one of his last matches when he won the world match play, which was remarkable in your last sort of throw of the dice. To have won that 16 times as well, it's, you couldn't possibly log all of his wins, but I think by saying record breaking or history making is enough.
I guess your voice has been protected in that you've had multiple times where people have won world championships, but if the Rob Crosses of the world keep winning single ones, your voice is going to get damaged with all these champions of the world that could happen.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, it's we've seen Van Gerwen now with 3, and it's going stronger and stronger, and Rob won his one, and will there be another 16-time world champion? Well, who knows? I mean, both of those have won world titles before Phil won his first one, age-wise. So, yeah, there's always a possibility that someone will come along and maybe even beat Phil, maybe a 17 or 18. And, I mean, may I be brash enough to say I hope I'm still around. I hope I'm still alive. I mean, it'll be amazing, yeah.
We know Russ Bray's a very good mate. He comes out here regularly. I don't know whether it's true that to get away from you or not.
Yeah.
What is it about you two that really make you tick?
I don't know. I just think he befriended me when I first joined. A lot of things in common. We like doing the same things. So that's quite nice. And we come from a sort of very similar background, really. You know, we both come from areas of London, and both our fathers served in the Royal Navy. And I don't know if that makes a lot of difference, but, you know, we brought up with quite disciplined households. And I just think we just become friends, and it just sort of, the friendship grew, really. And you always need someone when you're on tour. When you're away from home a lot of the time, like we do, you need friends. And, you know, he's a very, very good friend to me.
John McDonald, thank you for joining us.
It's always a pleasure. Great job.